wherein we opened ourselves to be forgive someone and also take the willingness of being responsible for how I feel or how I act. So some of you might have not came yesterday. Yesterday we had that discussion that why we should forgive someone and that what are the possibilities, what are the understanding we should have to be able to forgive and to be able to move on and let go of the resentments from our life. So this was a contract we developed and all of you agreed for that. I, your name, am open to forgive and willing to take responsibility for how I feel. Because that is the most important aspect if we want to really forgive someone or if we want to live a life of forgiveness. Unless we are open to forgive someone and unless we are willing to take responsibility how I feel and not judge or not blame someone else, till that point of time it will be incomplete forgiveness. So today we'll be discussing some more few deeper aspects and the session may go a little longer today, maybe till 8:45 to 8:50. Request you to bear with me for a little longer today. So one of the most important aspect of being able to grow in our life is to be let go of the past. Because what happens if we continue looking backward, we cannot drive forward in our life. We cannot drive forward by looking backward. Similarly, we have certain past experiences, we have developed certain perception, we have developed certain belief. So if we continue to operate from the same belief, same perception, same ideas, same ideology, and if we are not able to upgrade our system based upon the time we have moved in, we will not be able to create different results in the future. So if we continue to hold to same kind of feelings, perceptions, belief, ideas as we had in the past, we cannot expect to change the future. Our past will be equal to our future if we hold on to same belief system, if we hold on to same ideas. So the most important thing is to be able to let go of the past, learn the lessons and not keep lamenting about the past. So it's a very interesting fact that we are what story we tell to ourselves. The same thing may happen to 5 different people and 5 different people will have different versions of it. So it is not really what is happening to you that affect us. It's an important aspect. It is not what happens to us that affect us. It is what we tell ourselves what is happening to us that affect us. Something is what has happened to me and something is what I am telling to myself what has happened to me. They both are two different stories. So our personality or our life is not what has happened to us. It is what we are telling to us that has happened to us. So for an example, I will give you example from my own personal life. So when I was 12-year-old, at that point of time, I had a severe injury of my left eye, and the person who hit me with one viper was a very severe. It was very painful injury. It was very severe injury. My left eye got damaged, and I couldn't really function well for the next couple of years after that. So one thing is that till 10 years back, till I was around 12 years back, I was telling to myself, oh, how big a victim I am of. That person has spoiled my life. That person has ruined my life because I really cannot function to my optimal capacity. That was a story I've been telling to myself about that incident. But over a period of time, I have learned how to rewrite my story I have learned how to change my story. I have learned what I am telling to about what really happened to me has changed. So at this point of time, earlier 13 to 14 years back, I used to feel very grudgeful toward that person who has hit me with the viper, and I was feeling very sad. I used to feel very victimized and these kind of emotions. Now, how I look at it as like this, I think that is the best thing that has happened to me. The reason is because of that incident, I became more introspective. I started thinking more about the philosophy of life. I started thinking that what is the true purpose of life. I started thinking why this thing has happened to me in my life. So I start becoming very curious. And because I became very curious, I start growing spiritually. And ultimately I dedicated my life to propagate the message of Krishna consciousness and the Bhagavad Gita. So now I feel that was the best thing that has happened to me. And I am so grateful to that person. So it is not what happened to me really is affecting me. It is what I tell to myself about what has happened to me really impact us. So we are our story. If we want to change the future, we have to change the story which we have been telling to ourselves. So I encourage you at this point of time, if you have any of the stories like this, try changing its meaning, try changing its perspective. You would see how you will start responding to each and every person who was connected to the story in a very different way, in a very fresh and a new perspective. So, moving forward, it is said that you cannot reach for anything new if your hand are still full of yesterday's junk. If he really wants to create something new in our life, if he really wants to have that blessings, we cannot hold on to grudges at the same time expect the blessings to flow in my life. I cannot hold on to scarcity, what I have experienced one, and expect abundance to flow in my life. I cannot keep having that fear in my heart, thinking that one day I will be able to be very courageous. So before we get the new stuff, we have to let go of the old stuff. Before we start creating new life, or before we start creating new relationships, before we started getting new meaning in the relationship, we have to let go of the things which we have been holding and which are of no use to us now anymore. So it is very important to understand that the perspective of that, how if we are living from the past, if my experience of life is governed how I experienced my life in the past, then that is more or less tamasic lifestyle or mode of ignorance lifestyle. So it is said that what you felt when that person hurted you, or how you felt when that person crossed his boundaries, was his mistake at that point of time. But if we continue to feel the way we are feeling earlier, then it is my mistake. So, what I mean, and let me repeat again. What happened to me in the past and how I experienced the life because of that incident, that person is responsible for that. But if I am continue to feel the same feelings, same emotions even now, then that is my responsibility. That is because of me. Because I am not being able to upgrade and let go of things. So if we live in future, if we keep worrying about future, if we keep regretting the past, we keep feeling guilty about the past activities, if we keep feeling worried and anxious about future, then we are not really experience the life in essence. The life in essence is about living in the present, living now at this point of time. That is sattvic activity, sattva-guna. That is spiritual way of living, to living in the present and not let us impact from the past and not let us get impacted by the what's gonna unfold in the future. So it is very important, interesting aspect that if we hold on to the resentment with someone or with some situation, so what is happening is unconsciously you are creating an emotional bond with that person. I think this will be very, very revealing for all of you. I feel this is the most important aspect of why we should forgive someone. So if we have that feeling of hitting back, if we have that feeling of grudges, if we are holding to the resentment, then what is happening is there is a unconscious emotional bond which is being created between both of you. So in that sense, that person is still hurting you. The more you're thinking about that person, the more you're thinking about those emotions, the more stronger that bond keeps becoming. And more stronger that bond is, again and again you have to keep facing same person in your life. Maybe in a shape of taking revenge, maybe in a shape of that person again coming and hurting you. So, and many times we come across many situations or many people who becomes very inimical to you just in a moment. Just by look at them we feel very inimical toward them, although we have never met that person. It is because we have been holding that resentment toward that person for so many lifetimes, maybe sometime. So if we really have to become free, if we really want to become free ourselves from that resentment, it's important that we don't thicken that emotional bond. So the past is not equal to future. We can decide how much past we want to affect ourselves. So again, we have a choice. We have a choice that whether we really want our past to impact us, the past incidents impact us, or we want to create a new future with a new frequency, with a new energy, with a new vibrations. So people who are living life more in reaction to the event of past than living the way they deliberately want to. Sometimes what happens, we want to live the life based upon my perception about what has happened to me till now. So let's say for an instance, if we got hurt in a relationship, then it was very painful breakup, it was very painful separating. So what will happen is, in your new relationship, you will always want to avoid that pain. So your future relationship, your future life will be all about how to avoid pain. Will not be about how to live life, will be about how to avoid that pain. So more or less, in different situations, we all live in the reaction of the past, not actually living the life as per se. So more or less, we are very unconscious, dysfunctional, and we are living a life which is completely not in alignment with the sattvic way of living. So this is a very, very important aspect, that something wrong has happened to us. We just keep on living our future life in response to, in a defensive mode, in a fearful mode, in a worrisome mode, in a mode which is again bringing the past emotions. Like for an example, fear, what I just explained about avoidance of pain. I don't want to experience same pain again, because if I go into same relationship, in same situation, then I'm gonna experience a lot of pain which I don't want to. So our strategy, our futuristic strategy is about how to avoid pain, is not really how to experience life. So it is said, although you cannot have the same beginning, new beginning, but we can have the new end. Depends how we take and how we process and how we move on in our life. So it is resentment when we are very because this is very important thing. Let me dwell more on this. What is resentment? Resentment means, if you see the word resentment, you can break it. Re plus sentiment. And sentiment comes from the root word sentient. Sentient means feelings, means emotions. Resentment means I'm recycling same feelings again and again. Somebody came in my life, somebody hurted me, and I felt pain. It was very painful. Now, resentment means I'm continue to experience pain even today because I'm recycling same emotions again and again. And more you recycle your emotions, more your hatred toward that person continues to build up, and the more we remain the same loop. And mind you, kind of emotions we have in our life, it decides our vibrational energy, our energetic, our how much enthusiasm or how much energetic, how much attractive, how much positivity we are carrying with us. It's decided by that emotions. It's actually create a electromagnetic force around you, which is sometimes known as aura of a person. So that is all decided by how you feel within you. A person become really attractive, really not how a person looks, but how a really person feels about himself, about the world. If a person cannot feel good about himself, good about the world, and good about any sort of relationship, have not resolved all those negative emotions, then a person really does not really become attractive. It just superficial attraction sometime comes and just goes away. So when we let go of the resentment means we are letting go of the past also. So when we are letting go of that person, it is not that I am letting go of that person alone. I am also letting go of the effect which it had brought in the past and the effect which it is bringing now. So what experience I am having now because of that person, if I let go of that person, if I forgive that person, then along with that, I will also let go of that negative emotions what I am experiencing for that person. And that will free up my emotional space, and that will increase my emotional bandwidth to again start experiencing life in a fresher perspective. So to be able to live life from a fresher perspective, to be able to live life from a new point of view, from a recharged point of view, we have to create that emotional space for that. Because like the way you have the space in your room, similarly we also have the emotional space. And in that emotional space, we have to create emotional hygiene. And that is my responsibility. You cannot blame your neighborhood how much dirty your room is. Your room is your responsibility, not your neighbor's responsibility. So now we have a small exercise. So again, because we decided that it is gonna be more of our exercise based sessions. So now small reflection. Maybe you can type on the chat section, or you can type on your notebook, you can type on a mobile phone in your electronic notes. So I want all of you to write down different ways in which your past event is negatively impacting you even today. So how much I am living from my past, and how much in what all negative way my past is impacting me. So I would give you next 2 minutes, next 2 to 3 minutes. Think about this. It will be more introspective, and see, write down different ways, maybe bullet points, how my past is still impacting me. See in your life, see in the present situation, what all negative things are happening to you in this point of time because of your past. It will be very revealing, it will be painful in the beginning. I know last session also was a little painful. This session also will be little having some painful element coming out. But after tomorrow's session, we'll start experiencing some ray of hope, and we'll be start understanding how to start forgiving that person, how to start loosening that impact of past from ourselves. It doesn't impact me until I talk to them or see them. Yes, in that sense, still you are carrying that within yourself. So to really be able to forgive someone means you don't feel same emotions again. When you get upset, if things don't work out, you are automatically related the present upset to the past. Yes, because it is known as transference technique. Our mind is expert in doing transference of the past in the present, and when it is somewhere resonating with my present, my past activity, the same emotions surface up. continued thinking about what happened. Yes, ruminating about it, chewing on the same things, continuously thinking about same thing what has happened, because we have not processed yet. We have not rewrite our stories. So we'll be having a separate sessions. I think it will not be a part of this session, that how we can rewrite our stories. So by rewriting our stories, by telling to ourselves what really happened to me from perspective of the higher reality, higher life, we would be able to see different things emerging out from there.